up, yo?
What's happening? Happy Father's Day. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, episode number 380. 5 years in, episode 380. And I got a good feeling about today. I'm excited. We have some good, dear old friends coming on the show, a couple surprise guests. And, come around, gather around one and all. It's time for the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. And yes, what's up, Brian Madsen? What's up, Scott? Larry Kelly out on the road with Stigma, doing the country thing. We're gonna get into that in a minute. Ray Hogan, good. Joseph K, what's up? That's right, good. Vinny, what's up, Uncle Vinny? Good. Gang's all here. Good to see everybody. Yeah, can you believe it? 5 years. Seems like yesterday. You know? What's good, JB? Hey. What's good? A lot. I live a very blessed life because you guys are a part of it. And we get to make great art together and do great stuff and do what we love to do. So, the Skip Gilberto. Yes. Happy Father's Day, Skip. Yeah. Speaking of Happy Father's Day, let's bring on the one, the only Hardcore Shutterbug.
What's up? Happy Father's Day.
Hey, man. Thank you.
Can I call you Dad?
Listen, who's your daddy?
I am your father.
Yeah, I am your father, Stephen. You know? So.
Yeah. This is a good one. You know, I was just laughing because originally we were supposed to have this particular guest on Mother's Day, and here we are on Father's Day.
I know. He sometimes I don't realize what, so Mother's Day turned up, and I talked to our guest, and we said, you know what, let's move it. Unbeknownst, we moved it to Father's Day. But he's a good sport, and he made the time. And,
yeah, he is.
that said, let's talk about what's going on. I went to this the other night. Here you go. What's happening here? What's going on with this?
What can you even say? This was such a fun night. That is, of course, the outlaw Vinny Stigma right there, and our friend Sergey from Gogo Bordello on the violin.
Right.
What a fun show! Brooklyn Bowl. I think it was one of, what is it, 4 shows or 6 shows they're doing?
I
The
think
outlaw.
it's 4.
The outlaw Vinny Stigma, featuring our friend Eugene, of course, from Gogo Bordello, and Sergey. It's just such a blast, and I gotta tell you, it really worked. I really thought, like, wow, they played so well with Vinny's voice, and I wasn't sure what I was walking into, and I purposely avoided listening. I avoided any video clips. I wanted to go in completely cold. I had a great time. I thought there was so much fun.
It was good. It was good. I gotta say, Stigma pulled it off. You know.
Yeah.
He looked great. He had his cowboy boots on and his
cowboy hat. He did.
He really looked great, I gotta say, and he really pulled it off, and it was really entertaining. And you know what I really liked about it the most? They only played for like a half hour. That's, I really, that's like my sort of attention span. Like at this stage of the game, a half hour. If you're a band, give me a half hour, all you got, and we're good.
Tell you, coming from a guy that used to follow band that played for 4 hours at a time. But you know what? It was good. Chip Hanna on the drums, by the way. I believe he was TSOL, US Bombs.
Yeah.
And
also I forgot dude's name playing bass.
Oh, from Overstand.
Right. So I'm talking to him and he says to me, did this show get announced yet? Oh, it didn't get it. Okay. So he says to me, yo, I play with Todd Hamilton from Warzone's band Overstand. And I was like, huh? So yeah, this isn't announced yet, but this show on October 12th, Incendiary Device, Non-Resonance, No Weapon, Overstand, and Steel Toe Solution free at the Bowery Electric. And he's playing bass for that, which is interesting.
Yeah, I like those guys a lot. I saw Overstand a couple of times. They're really good. Yeah. And also, getting back to the show, another cool part of the show was that the opening band was a band called Zopa.
Right.
Which, of course, is fronted by, Michael Imperioli, who a lot of people might know from The Sopranos and Law and Order and stuff. And really kind of cool, almost like a Velvet Underground kind of vibe they give me,
Yeah, they did a Velvet Underground song.
I thought they were very cool. And actually, this is the second time I've seen them. And I thought they were way better this time. And I really liked that they had a cellist. Yeah, I mean, it was a very cool night.
There you go. Christopher.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just it was really a fun. In fact, I didn't even see you there. We were both there. Yeah. I was up in the front shooting and you were over on the side. And but it was very cool.
Here's a cool shot with Michael playing in front of playing through our gear, our Fryette gear.
Is that a Jaguar? Is he playing a Jaguar?
I don't know. Know.
Yeah, he
Spider from Goodfellas. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Larry says he's a real nice, down to earth guy. We got to get him on the show. Is what we got to do.
That would be great.
You know how we'll get him on the show? I'll be like, yo, I promise we won't talk about The Sopranos. That'll get him on the show because I'm sure that dude is well tired of talking about The Sopranos at this point.
Well, listen, you know what? The band is really good. In fact, I thought the bass player had a really good voice. They both took turns singing. Yeah, it was a really cool double bill, and I really feel like I was so pleasantly surprised at how good the band was and how well it fit Vinny's voice. Yeah. It was great. So there you go. Well, thanks, and have a
I know it's a nice event over there at the Messina household. So
Oh
have a
yeah,
good-
well you know
have a
what's
good-
going on today. So
yeah, yeah. Have a good
Well-
rest. Have a good rest of the day.
you too, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And
Yep.
and I will see you.
I'll see you
at the
soon.
next one.
All right. Talk to you in a bit. There you have it, the hardcore shutterbug. This is the one, the only, often imitated, never duplicated New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. And we're sponsored by the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Candle Witch Co., and Mad Vintage. They buy, sell, and collect band shirts, primarily hardcore. The DIY operation was started and is operated by a hardcore kid who just loves collecting and eventually got into vintage clothing, specifically the realm of vintage band shirts. They're always looking to buy out collections to either keep, sell, or trade. New shirts out daily at www.madvintage.com and post it on Instagram. Dig deep into that closet of crap and reach out to them. Help me help you, Mad Vintage. That said, let's clear the deck. Let's bring our guest on. Let's make sure nobody's killing each other in the chat room. Thank you, Joe Ramini, the Texas Silver Rush. There he is. Hey, Joe, we're bringing on Hudson today. Hudson's coming on the show to talk about his business. 9-year-old Hudson will be on the show later on. So that said, let's clear the deck and let's bring our guest on. Here we go. Today's guest is an American vocalist, songwriter hailing from New York City. For almost 35 years in his incredibly proficient career, he's known as the lead singer for the New York hardcore band Madball. Here today to celebrate the release of True to the Game, the Roadrunner years. Please welcome back to the show, after a couple of years, Freddy Cricien. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
How are you?
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Good. You're looking good.
Thanks, man. You as well.
Thank you.
I got my golf gear on. I just came back from that, so
Is that right? You playing golf these days?
Yeah. A little bit. I'm getting there. I'm starting to get a little better.
It's an enjoyable game.
Yeah. I love it.
Are you an early morning person?
I am when it comes to golf. I am. Yeah. That's the only time I can get it in. I got to get up like super early and try to get it done before I try to be back before the kids wake up, kind of, I'm trying to that's the time where I can get it in. So
something interesting, my dad grew up in the Bronx and he ran it with a crew called the Stallions, right? It was like a Jewish crew and they had sort of like the Jackets and the Social Club and the car. Yeah. They had it on lockdown in this part of the Bronx.
Right.
The Stallions.
The Stallions,
and
okay.
What the Stallions did, they all played golf in Van Cortlandt Park. There's public golf course. Van Cortlandt and Mosholu. But this crew, they were back then. This is this is what they did.
I love it. That's hard.
Golf was because it was like a Bronx thing. It's probably.
I wish someone would have got me into it back.
Yeah.
I'm just a few years into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's fun.
I'm a late bloomer. I'm late getting into it. I mean, I absolutely fell in love with the game, but I wish I'd have been hard, been playing in the LES somewhere. That'd been cool back in the days.
Yeah.
They had trouble a little bit.
Let's really jump into Madball, True to the Game, the Roadrunner years, and we're going to bring a couple of guests on, but let's jump to it. I think why don't we just straight up jump right into it, and let's bring on your brother Roger Moret. What's happening, man?
Hey, I didn't know my brother was going to be on here.
Well, there you go.
What's up, man?
I'm here to roast you.
We were just texting Happy Father's Day to each other.
Happy Father's Day, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, Raj.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
100%. How's the weather, Raj?
Man, it's 100 and something right now.
Oh my gosh!
I got up at 5:30 and did a morning walk.
Oh, nice.
But I got to get up early because or else you're gonna die. I'm checking
We
the
just-
weather right now.
We
It is
just, we just
109.
we just played Vegas, and after the first day of, like I said, I'm not going out until the sun goes down. It's fucked up out.
It's brutal out that way.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that crazy dry heat, that desert heat.
Yeah.
So let's chop it up a little bit, and let's talk about the origins of Madball. Roger, I know you play heavily into it, but how did Madball initially come together? What was the origin of Madball?
I mean, the origin were, as a lot of people already know, Freddy. I used to have Freddy stay with me right back then, in all the crazy squats and stuff like that. And we would have him go up and sing a song with AF. His first time he ever sang was at Great Gildersleeves, and it was I think September of '83, just shy of his birthday, and we were doing a show at Great Gildersleeves with GBH and Cause for Alarm, and he got up there, he sang, and then from there on, we always had him every time we could. We get him up to do his song. He always did "It's My Life," and then later on, he started doing AF favorites that he liked, like "Off of Victim and Pain" and stuff like that.
Blind Justice into Last Warning. That was That was my main little thing I used to do. Blind Justice going into Last Warning.
Absolutely. Kind of like the first time we started getting, like, we really started getting Madball was this one time we had a show in Rochester. I think it was Rochester.
Yeah.
And Steve Martin didn't make it. And we're like, what are we gonna do? We're like, well, Freddie said we're gonna do Madball. We didn't have anything out. We just said we're gonna do, because we always call him Freddie Madball. And we're just gonna sing a bunch of AF songs, and we actually played the show. It was supposed to be AF playing. It was in Rochester.
And you played
Streets,
bass,
right?
And you played bass, Raj?
Yeah, streets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I played bass, and just Freddie came out and sang. That was, the AF
First, I guess, official Madball show. I guess
that was
unofficial.
like the first official like Madball show, and then we started then we did the 7-inch. We really never did much until like what really got Freddie going. Honestly, is when I got really sick during One Voice had come out, and then we were doing that tour with Obituary, Cannibal Corpse, and Malignant Creation.
Was that the Complete Control tour?
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
Headbangers Ball.
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, Complete Control
Headbangers
tour.
Ball, right?
We called it Handbangers Ball on our end.
Sure.
But it was the Complete Control tour. I still got my members only jacket. It's in the closet if you want to see it from that tour. But anyway,
Nice.
What happened was I got sick. I had to get emergency surgery, and they're like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" Well, I will take Freddie. And Freddie was still young, and he fought a tooth and nail. I'm like, it's only a week or two. And then he finally went out there, and he had no choice. Now he's doing AF One Voice songs. You can still, like, if you look in YouTube, you can find some of those shows where Freddie's actually singing on that tour, right? And then the next thing you know, he's gone for 2 weeks. He comes back, and I'm like, okay, I'll try. And I tried. I really did, and I couldn't. I had to go back home, and I'm like, you got to keep going. He was pissed off. And Freddie did most of that tour. I think I may have done a week, if anything. And then after that tour, he was like, well, fuck it. Now I know. He was all in. Now, now they didn't even want me back.
That was like boot camp.
Steven was trying to throw me out of the band.
Wasn't boot camp, was being with them as a kid, but I think that was just like an extra course there. That was like that really put trained.
That was the real boot camp of like getting out.
That was like the special. That was the special forces course.
Was it Obituary, Malevolent Creation, AF, and Cannibal Corpse?
Yeah,
that's it.
Wow,
AF was co-headlining though. AF was co-headlining with Obituary. Cannibal Corpse wasn't as big as they are now back then.
Malignant Creation was the openers, then Cannibal Corpse, then AF, and then Obituary.
Yeah. So that was kind of
that was kind of what really got him out there. But like if you know the history, if you know the AF history, Freddie was always with us, and random shows in New York, or when we went to play Florida, he'd just be with us. I take him. If you saw that book I just put out, my with Time book, you see pictures of Freddie in there, and we're talking about Freddie in the diary kept and everything like that. You see pictures of Freddie all in that book everywhere. I mean, one of his first shows, and he didn't even realize it, was that there's a cool picture in the book with my girlfriend at the time, Kim, was with him, and that's the Bad Brains. That was a Bad Brains show at the A7. I know at CBGB's, So he saw a lot. I think you saw SSD Control there too. You saw a lot of great shows. You were little, but he was there. You can see random photos. Karen O'Sullivan has a ton of photos of rabies with Freddy on top of him and hanging out in the van with a bunch of different,
I remember those days.
old school heads everywhere. You know, he was the youngest kid on the actual scene at the time. You know,
hey Freddie, was there anybody your age? Like, did you have any? Was there any like little Chris or even Todd Youth? Todd Youth was older.
They were older than me. They were older than me.
They were older.
Yeah, I mean, and they were kids, right? I mean, everyone essentially was a kid, kind of. But even Todd Youth and little Chris,
and
I think, and Poss. He always had a baby face, even though he was older, but he seemed like, he was 12,
all those kids were like double digits at the time. Freddie was a single digit kid.
Right.
Like 7, there wasn't many like single digit besides if you want to go back with all the people that were like if Harley were in the very beginning of the scene, there wasn't very much single digit kids,
No.
100%.
Yeah.
One thing with this true to the game, there's a great booklet in here, and I talked to my neighbor this morning, Howie Abrams, who lives pretty much across the street from me. Raj, he was talking about how you guys had a relationship with Howie, with In Effect, with the Agnostic Front Live record, and at a certain point you came in with a cassette and said, "Hey, check this out," and that was the first Madball recording. Does that make sense?
That's correct. That's true. That was a Ball of Destruction. And the way that came out, I was actually going to release that on my own, like Last Warning Records, but things happened and I needed to get it out anyway. But it was cool because we kind of like gave it to them to release it under the AF umbrella because we it just said members of Agnostic Front. The sticker said that, if you look at it. But we were always kind of, just on. We were always under, like it was Freddy. And nobody knew who was really in the band, but if you knew, you knew. And that was the first one. Amy took that picture. That's a great photo.
Was this where was this record? Was this at Don Fury's?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. All at Don Fury, the first 2 7-inch that I played on, at least.
Yep.
And
those are both Don Fury.
This is the infamous.
Well, how the band came to be, Drew, was basically all the really old AF songs, basically that we weren't really playing much, like the United Blood era and earlier stuff. We just started doing it with Freddy. That's how the band came to be.
Yeah. I mean, look at what's on here, right? Last Warning, Fight, right?
Yeah.
Fights. That's one of my favorite. I always
Fight is actually Fight is not even a real AF song. It was a Psycho song that I took over to AF.
Right. Fight, Colossal Man, It's My Life, Discriminate Me. Yeah, this was all.
Get Out was a song that was never on the AF United Blood single, but we recorded that. You saw later on in the release of United Blood Legacy. We just never made it to the single, but Get Out was one of those.
There was a few songs, right, Raj? Weren't there a bunch of there were a few songs that were not on United Blood, right?
Yeah. Right. He got rid of the thing, so I can't see. But there was a few songs that were recorded in United Blood era, but we never put out. So they went, Freddie had them going, Even like Colossal Man, for example. That's another Psycho song bought over, and that was a big one for Madball. Colossal Man was a skinhead,
We still play it.
Yeah.
We still do it today.
There it is. Smell the Bacon, Discriminate Me.
Smell the
we
Bacon.
Should care.
Smell the Bacon, another song that never made it to United Blood. We Should Care never made it to United Blood. There was stuff in there never made to United Blood, but
these were the United Blood throwaways. They gave me all the throwaways.
We had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're still in our set today, and there's some of this, and there's some of the most like the people still dig those songs. Like Smell the Bacon, all those songs. It's My Life. All that. They all still like people respond well to them.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And then the second 7-inch was Dropping Many Suckers, right? This one.
Yep. Another Amy picture.
Another Amy picture.
Down in the Lower East Side.
That's right next to the Squat.
10th Street. Yep.
Yeah.
Right directly next door to the Squat. And it was obviously everybody in the band was a little bit behind, and they actually didn't play in the 7-inch.
Not in the band. No one was in the band.
No one in that photo besides Freddy was actually played in that 7-inch. At that point, we also added Matt Henderson on guitar.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that was Maddie's first Madball thing.
Right.
Eddie Medina from Powerhouse says the Blame rips on that, but like you said, Raj, the Blame was I remember seeing AF do the Blame with Ethan back in the day and all that.
With Rabies, we used to do it with Rabies all the time. It was it was a duet me and Rabies sang. In fact, there's a line in there that I to this day think that got another popular New York band their name, where it said, "We're the youth of today, and nothing could stand our way." You know, next thing you know, we have a band called Youth of Today. And if you ask me, I think they really got it because they used to love that song, Ray and Purcell, you know. But anyway, on that 7-inch you just flashed, we had Matt Henderson, right? Matt Henderson joined, and then we started writing some originals for it. Those are all original, besides the Blame. Those are all like kind of originals written like by us quickly, you know, and then. You know, lyrically, me playing around when Freddy we're just goofing off.
Yeah, I don't think I wrote. I mean, I might have like.
No, that was just me being a
That
jerk.
was you mostly with the lyrics, and Maddie and you and Maddie with the music. Both.
Right. It was just pure ignorance, and then let Freddy sing.
Yeah. And I would ad lib. I did on the first 7-inch too. Like on that first 7-inch, I ad lib stuff. I did, you know, because it was all live, recorded live. So like when I yell "hardcore lives" or whatever, like those were all like ad libs. You know, like those were just like on the spot that I just threw my own little 2 cents in there. But I hadn't started to write lyrics yet. Like even by this point, like I still wasn't like comfortable with that.
I think you started like when obviously
Set It Off.
Set It Off, and even some of the songs that Set It Off, I think, are still lyrically some of my stuff. I think some of it.
Well, only because it's from here. That's why. The song.
Yeah.
It's because there are these songs that we did some of these songs on Set It Off.
Did
That's
Willie play drums on the 2 7-inches? Right.
Yep. Willie's the original Madball drummer from the first 7-inch through.
You know what? Why not, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, Will Shepler, what's up?
Willie, Brooklyn.
Willie.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Hey, look at how handsome this kid is, huh?
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Willie.
Yeah, happy Father's Day, everybody.
Yeah,
Willie, I'm in your club.
And Drew, congratulations on the nuptials.
Well, thanks, man. It was a real circus. We got married on stage by Vinny Stigma in the name of New York hardcore.
Oh, I know, I saw it. The Reverend Vinny Stigma cowboy.
He was very gracious. he was more nervous than we were. His hands were shaking. He's like, I'm so nervous. He was on stage. His hand was shaking like this.
Really?
Yeah, he was nervous.
Yeah.
That's funny. Hey, Will. Memories of recording the early 7-inches at Don Fury's. What was sort of, I mean, as I dig up one of the classic Don Fury pictures, any memories?
I don't really. It was a quick recording, you know. It's like, I don't know. We did it like one day, and I think wasn't Craig supposed to play on it too, and then he was late. He was like getting pizza or something.
I don't know.
I don't know about those are always just us.
Yeah,
he was probably getting pizza.
Yeah, he was getting pizza or something.
He was definitely getting pizza.
Yeah, but then I think he sang backups, didn't he?
He did.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And didn't Mark Ryan sing backups too?
Mark Ryan too, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's just Craig's story that he thought he should have played on it.
Was it this location?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's it right there. Yep, the dungeon.
But he had that, he had that room. He had a good sound, so he just kind of kept everything the same for all the bands.
Yeah.
You go in there, you record a demo or an EP, whatever, and it sounded good.
Yeah, he had the continuity.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And at this point, Maddie's in too, right?
Dropping Many Suckers, Maddie's in. So that's the second EP or whatever.
Why not make it a party, ladies and gentlemen? Matt Henderson. What's up,
hey,
man?
ladies? What's happening? Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Maddie.
Father's Day. How the kids?
Y'all.
Speaking of fathers, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Henderson. Good for you. How you feeling, Matt? What's up?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Tired, busy all the time, but glad to be here.
Yeah. Any memories of the early kind of stepping in, recording at Don Fury's, dropping many suckers?
Yeah, I remember hating the amp I had to use.
Did you really? What was it? Something
some
Don Fury
bullshit
had?
Don Fury thing, yeah.
Like a twin reverb or something.
Yeah, it was exactly. It was like some vintage amp that just didn't have a lot of modern gain, but it was cool for sure. I mean, you know, what I loved was the songs we all wrote together. You know, we used to, what was it, Gray Area? Was that where it was? AJ used to
the rehearsal spot.
manage the joint.
Yeah. Gray area. Yeah.
Gray Area, which was a little shit box.
Yep.
But we used to just turn it up real loud and just bang it away, and just it was real raw and angry sounding. So, you know, it was exciting to get to go record it, and it made sense to do it with Don Fury. I mean, you know, I love Don and his work.
And he was always quick and easy, knew us, and we would go there all the time. All of us would do rehearsal. Matt, do you remember if we did that? Like, was it a 4-track recording? Was it like?
No, this was it would have been at least 16 track. It was ADATs. I remember that. He just went digital.
Huh.
I think Don Fury still has the ADAT machine. Last time I seen him, he still has the ADAT machine. You know, Freddie, this label, this was Wreckage Records.
Yep, that's right, Wreckage Records. Actually, yeah, that was what was it, Pablos and Amber or whatever?
Yeah,
that was that couple. Yeah,
they live in Greece now.
Yeah, well, he's Greek, right?
Yeah, I see him
Pablo's
all the time.
Greek, yeah.
They're doing great.
Yeah.
They had a little label, and
right? Is that where they were? Argentina?
Where?
Argentina.
No.
They were based out of New York.
Yeah, they used to live in New York.
Yeah.
They live right there on
well, like Broadway or something.
Broadway, something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right by CB's. And then he moved back to Tatsanuki, wherever that place is in Greece.
Delasaniki?
Probably. You probably said it right. What do I know?
Yeah.
So let's kind of make our way to the first record that's on the set, which is Set It Off. And Howie Abrams goes to Roadrunner, and how does Madball end up on Roadrunner, Freddie?
Howie Abrams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring Howie on?
No. I spoke to Howie's not coming on. Stigma's not coming on. This is
no more space. No more
this
space.
Is it.
Stigma doesn't even know how to come on this thing anyway.
Well, he's doing the cowboy stuff, isn't he?
He's playing. They're playing.
He's got a rodeo today. He's got a rodeo.
He's got
He's
a
a
rodeo.
big shot now. He's a big shot, Roger. He's doing a country thing
he's
now.
fighting a longhorn or something like that. Did I ever tell you about the? You know, I don't want to shove away from your thing, but did I ever tell you about the time he actually was a bullfighter in a real arena? It's in my book. It's not. It's a craziest story I've ever seen. Were you there? Who was there? You weren't there. Kabula was there, and Jimmy. But we went to this fiesta in Colombia. We ended up having a huge brawl. We almost died. But in this fiesta, we're just having the time of our life. Next thing you know, we go into this little arena, and we're watching. Everybody's cheering, watching. All of a sudden, there comes the bull comes out. And we're like, where's Stigma? All of a sudden, Stigma just comes out. We're like, holy shit, everybody's cheering. It's like Stigma's out there. He wasn't the bullfighter. He was one of the clowns that
like the clowns or whatever. Yeah, like the rodeo.
And the bull's chasing him. I don't know when he came back out. I'm like, what are you crazy? He goes, yeah, I saw the whole thing. They drugged the bull. He couldn't catch me. I knew that. He's telling me all this crazy stuff.
Wow.
But the people were cheering. How does shit like this even happen in my life?
And that was
he's back to his roots.
Because I can bring it to Madball. That's a contribution to Madball if you think about it. Because he wrote riffs, and he came up with the name, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Us wanting to really match that original spirit that I think he threw out there, to the point where our music sounds like people out somewhere else would say, like, I heard those dudes that they fight bulls and shit. That's real, man.
It's a real story.
Yeah,
we're going for it.
Yeah,
That's
Well,
is
now
that
you
right?
were asking, you were saying something about Roadrunner. Let's go back to Roadrunner while
Well,
I go.
yeah, like you know, at the time, you know, Roadrunner had you know, a bunch of things going on. They had Life of Agony, they had Typo Negative, they had Biohazard, they had Sepultura. You know, they had a bit of a cachet. What was it like when Madball when they came calling for Madball? Was it Howie that reached out and did you guys have any trepidation with, you know, jumping? I know it was a long time ago.
Uh,
That's where the name comes from.
Yeah.
I was a little apprehensive.
Yeah.
Because you know, Agnostic Front was done. I actually moved back to Boston to finish school. And you know, it's like, okay, so if we sign with Roadrunner, that means we got to put real work in and a lot of time and commitment, and you know, that changes a lot of shit. But no question about wanting to do it with Howie. No question about wanting to play the music with Freddy, Willie, Hoya, Vinny. You know what I mean? Like that was like something that I knew I wanted to do. It's just a matter of we going to commit to that level and, you know, do that fucking gig. But we did.
I mean, did you feel up until that point? I mean, Madball wasn't really. You guys weren't touring that much. Did you feel like you were really jumping into it in a big way at that point? Like, think you were going to get kind of caught in the current?
I mean, we were just playing for fun at that time. Like, we weren't even like super serious about it. And you know, we were definitely by default, I think we were like filling a void because, like Maddie said, AF was sort of leaving the game at that point.
Yeah.
Temporarily, but that's like when that was happening. And then we were just like, yeah, let's just play, see what happens. Cause we had put that EP out. It was cool. It was something positive to do. Keep us out of trouble somewhat, a little bit.
Theoretically.
To some degree. I don't know. It was like, you know, it was there for us to do. And you know, we jumped on it. And we were having fun with it, and that's all it was really at that point. Some more shows came our way, so we're like, all right, yeah, let's do these shows. This weekends, this, that. We played with AF. We played with, you know, AF had a weekend where we played with us, Coldest Life, a bunch of bands, and yeah, we were just playing, having fun, just not really thinking of the future of Madball per se. But then then Howie, I guess. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think he saw us playing. He saw that we were playing out, and then he was over at Roadrunner, and then I guess he thought like Madball could be a fit. You know, we could be like the representatives of like New York hardcore over at Roadrunner. You know, because it was mostly like metal, really.
Yeah.
And even like the bands that were like New York hardcore related weren't really your traditional hardcore bands, I guess you could say. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was interested, you know, he had seen some shows, he had heard some things, and he was interested, and he approached us, and then I guess that sort of made us take it more seriously. You know, that sort of kind of triggered something in us to be like, oh, are we gonna do this thing? Oh, all right, let's give it a real shot, you know.
I know
That's my assessment of it.
I know,
yeah,
Roger.
I think we just took it, you know, as it went. You know, we didn't have any plans, and it sort of just turned out the way it did.
Right.
I mean, we didn't tour at all, you know, before Set It Off.
No, weekends, a couple random shows. Yeah.
And then once Set It Off came out, there was definitely a buzz. You know, you could tell that we're getting more popularity at that point.
Yeah.
That's what we.
I mean, we had done that AF tour.
25 to 65 people at the shows.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like people think like because of our like bloodline, that we like inherited like these massive shows. Like, oh yeah,
right.
Your first show was probably urban, you know, like some big place, whatever. And it was like, no, man, we had to grind it out too. Like, of course, being attached to Agnostic Front is always helpful. Just being part of that whole, you know, those family roots. But yeah, we like hardcore was really weird when we started in the early 90s, hardcore was not doing very well. And like we didn't, we had to like work hard. We had to establish ourselves, even though we had this lineage. We still had to establish ourselves. They didn't care. It was like, yeah, I mean, that's cool and all, but like, yeah, your history's cool, but like, what do you got? What do you got to offer?
Pat Baldwin asks, did they tour Italy before Set It Off? No.
Yes.
You did?
Yes, we did. We did one European tour in '93 with Agnostic Front, opening up for Agnostic Front. That was our first time in Europe ever.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was Madball. It was the second 7-inch, dropping many suckers.
Right. When Agnostic Front, Matt remembers this, when Agnostic Front first went to Europe, all of a sudden we're playing like this, and we were the only band playing, and they expected us to play for like 3 hours, and we were like, "There's there any openers?" Like, no, you're playing. So then we decided to bring our own opener, and it was really easy. All we had to do is bring Freddy. Freddy at the time was in school, so I had to. He had to write the whole thing, essay about his whole trip. It became this whole thing, but they let him go, right? So we go out there, and there's a lot of story before we go out there, but I'm not gonna go there. It's hilarious. I remember the fireworks going off at Vinny's house looking for the passport. But anyway, we finally get out there, and we would just go out there as Madball, and then right before their eyes, we would just take our switches, give my bass to Craig, take our clothes off, and we become Agnostic Front.
Yeah, everyone would dress in like flannels.
Yeah,
all these guys.
And
this
really good disguises. I don't think anybody knew.
No one noticed at all.
We all had nicknames.
The only member that wasn't in the band on stage with us was Craig, and we would we'd give shout outs to like, yo, this song goes out to, MAD for helping us out. This song goes out to, Agnostic Front, bunch of good dudes, except for that scumbag Craig Satari.
We just cut him up at our sets.
Roger, it reminds me, when you used to play in the Psychos and AF for the same night, you try to mix it up. You do the same. You like play with the hoodie on. Maybe no one will notice you.
Well, that was always Vinny. Vinny's always trying to hide. You got to all, and then for AF, you could be who you are. But it was like Vinny. Nobody knows it's me. I'm playing in all 3 opening bands.
Who we fucking kidding? Who we fooling here?
Yeah, there was only 20 of us. We all know each other.
Right. So Roger, what was the impetus for you to put the bass down? And I know the dynamics of the band shade. Hoya came in. Like, at what point did you sort of say, "Hey, I'm taking the bass off"?
Well, honestly, it was that whole point where I was the one that put a halt to the AF thing, because I wanted to do something different. My daughter really needed me, and I needed to do something different in my life than be there for her. And then when I went off to do what I was going to do, obviously I wasn't doing AF, and now the door was open up for Madball. So why not? Like if I didn't do that, I probably would have still been a jerk or a clown. But it would. I mean, let's not forget Hoya did attributed a lot to Madball too. So I don't want to take that away from him too. But I'm just saying that it was a different thing, But that it wasn't like it was like I had to step back from everything for a while, and that's what happened.
That makes sense. Maddie, I know you mentioned that you were you had some trepidation with the whole Roadrunner thing, but when you saw what Hoya was bringing to the party, the Corona bounce. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I love playing music, right? I mean, the whole point of doing any of this shit was to play music, right? I mean, and playing with the guys in Agnostic Front before Madball was, for me, one of the most amazing experiences as a musician, because all those motherfuckers can play. And it's like, I loved that, never stopped loving that. There were other aspects of, the scene and just bullshit around us that made it kind of tough. And in the same way Roger talked about needing to go in a different direction, it kind of made sense for me too at that moment in time. And that's what I did. I went back to go to school to just kind of get some shit in order in my life. And then, we get the deal to do this record, and it's like, well, fuck, that means we got to write music, and it's got to be good, because none of us, we all had a standard that was too good to just put out some bullshit. And I knew Hoya could play, and I had heard Demise, and I'm like, I like, there's some flavor there. What's going to happen from here? And yeah, Set It Off was written, and it's
it made sense because we were all friends. We were all friends prior to that. So
that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we were all friends, and then like, okay, so who's going to play bass? And then it was like a natural thing. Well, like Hoy, he's, like we're all hanging out. We're all hanging out. He plays bass. Demise was a done deal.
Yeah.
So it just made perfect sense.
But
and then, it turns out you never know what someone's going to bring to the table. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Right.
And,
I don't think that there was ever an intention of all those guys that we're looking at to do something like what was proposed to them after I had left.
Correct.
Like Maddie had left too. Like I think this was just
everyone was on their way out
of nowhere. It was perfect timing because our departure kind of was also was a big bounce for them to do their thing, and of course then take it to their next level. It was all perfect timing. Hardcore was just about to blow up, so the timing was perfect.
Yeah.
And it was a good natural, I think, musical progression too, from say One Voice, that Maddie and I had played together. Absolutely. And bringing Hoya in, so it's kind of progressive, sort of new kind of hardcore sound with that groove to it,
Yeah,
absolutely.
It made sense. It made sense to work, and people loved it.
Yeah, you guys were definitely doing something cool with the One Voice thing, and that crept in. Yeah, that transition definitely helped Madball.
Is this the record that was recorded up in Massachusetts at the guy that was like in Billy Joel's band or something? Is this with Jamie Locke, right? Is this the place?
Dave Brown was a guitarist for Billy Joel. And it was recorded in his house. Like he had a studio in his mansion.
and then mixed at Michael Johnson's house in his mansion.
Yeah. Space Cowboy.
Space Cowboy.
Right.
Space Monkey. And Maddie, but you guys didn't have Don Fury as a bunkie like we did for One Voice. Those are great times.
Nah, we just couldn't.
We left him at home for this one.
Those are great times.
Great.
Yeah. What? But this was. I always thought this was recorded at Normandy Sound because I saw Jamie Locke's name on it.
That was the idea, right?
Yeah.
That was as close.
That was the initial idea. Yeah.
But we didn't have the budget, so.
Good old Normandy Sound.
Wasn't Jamie moving away from that too? Right. He was kind of moving away from working at Normandy.
I don't even Normandy was still active at that.
They were on their way out too.
Yeah.
Hey, Eddie Medina from Powerhouse says, how did the cover concept evolve, Freddie?
Eddie,
how did it evolve? Well, we were looking at. We wanted something that was going to make an impact, visually, sort of complement the music. So we were just looking at all these different pictures that like. This one just popped out at us one day. I remember we were just looking at different things, different images. Like, I guess, the label was able to like purchase certain pictures that we could use. And so this was one of them. And I don't know. I just remember that everyone liked this. Everyone liked this image. Like we all were like, that's hard, that's going to make people talk, like, what is that? Like, what does that even mean?
It's a powerful image.
It's powerful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was kind of what jumped out at us. And there it is.
Hey, let me give one of these away because the label sent me a couple. So if somebody wants one of these, answer this question from the Set It Off record. What was the first music video that Madball ever did and who directed it? and that'll get you this beautiful 3 CD package. So
you don't make that tough, do you, huh?
Yeah.
It could have been like, what's the name of the dog that was in the video?
Right. We'll see if anybody even.
See if anybody remembers.
Wrong. Eddie Medina. Pride. No. Drew Stone.
Oh, come on.
Wrong.
Well, that's because Eddie was in that, I think.
All right.
Yeah,
what's up, Eddie?
What's up, Eddie? Wrong. Yes. Okay, you got part of you. People got part of her. There you go. Matty's soul, which sounds like he's in Europe. He sounds like he's in far reaches of Norway. Down by Law, Drew Stone. I directed it. There you go.
Yeah.
That's right. And
Pride was the second one.
He's got to pay for the shipping, though, right?
Yeah.
Did you give him any white bread with bologna sandwich and white bread?
Hey, Walter Monster Ryan, Down by Law, Drew Stone. You know, in the liner notes, which by the way I read today, I hunkered down and read yours, Matty, Willie, yours, Freddie. I read the whole thing, and what I talked about is in doing the Down by Law. There's a direct connection between the Down by Law video and the Onyx Slam video I did. You know what that connection is?
The end of the reel.
Yeah, the short ends. When back then when we did music videos, if you didn't use all the film, you downloaded it back into the can and you put it in the refrigerator. But the thing was, then when it came time to do the next job, you were always kind of scared to use it because maybe it got fucked up when they downloaded or whatever. So I ended up with a refrigerator full of what they call short ends, 100 foot, 200 foot. And then my brother comes to town and he owned this 16 millimeter camera. And I was like, well, I got a bunch of short ends from Onyx Slam. And that's what we used to shoot Madball, Down by Law.
Makes perfect sense.
Well, I want to thank Onyx for that.
Yeah. Thank you, Onyx.
Yeah, you could thank Onyx
and Drew, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely shout out to you, Drew, because not knowing like kind of the detail you just kind of said there in the way you said it, but knowing that you had an opportunity to use some stuff left over from another shoot. I couldn't remember which one it was. You reached out to us. You were given no budget at all from Roadrunner, and you fucking made a video for us. And then you worked with them however you worked it. And
guerrilla style.
We appreciate that, man.
Great video too.
And it was a different video. No, I don't think it had its own vibe.
To this day, people ask me like, what are the favorite videos you've done? And I'm like, Biohazard Shades of Gray, Madball Pride, Typo Negative Black #1. I mean, certain videos I still look at and they still like make the hair on the back of my neck stand. You just captured a moment. Sometimes, as you guys know, you just capture a moment, and that was
we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
And I said in the liner notes, you guys are one of the few bands on this record, on the next record, on this record, you're one of the few bands that like reciprocated. And when you had a little bit of a budget, I heard, you guys said, no, Drew Stone's our guy, and came back and did it. And, not all bands are like that, man. Most bands have the record label in their ear going, oh, well, now you should go work with this guy. And you guys said, no, this guy, Drew Stone stepped up when and went out of went for nothing. And now we got a buck, it should go to him. He's our guy. So sure. I'll always appreciate that,
For sure. And you're from our world, you're from our scene, so it makes complete sense. And it was cool. The stuff we were doing was,
Yeah. Let's talk about this a little bit. Demonstrating my style, and Jamie Locke once again. And one thing I didn't ask you is a lot of the Madball stuff. Like you don't see on the Madball stuff like produced by this guy or that guy. It seemed like they kind of let you self-produce yourselves right from the get-go, right, Matty?
They did, yeah. I'll give Roadrunner credit. They we weren't in. How do you fit us into their overall roster?
Right.
We were definitely outliers, and I think they just saw that as that's who they are, and that's the reason to have them on our label. They do it the way they do it, so we're going to put them on and be the sort of wild card in the whole mix, and it was cool.
Yeah. Was this one recorded at Normandy?
No, I think Normandy was gone at this point. So Jamie Locke was, the closest we could get to that Normandy, actually having Normandy,
Yeah. That makes sense.
Did you guys meet Jamie Locke and when you did One Voice? Is that how you met Jamie Locke?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Jamie Locke got thrown at us in the one voice. We actually went up to record someone else, and it was it's a long story.
No, I
had
remember
a family
that.
emergency or something, and Jamie stepped in, right?
Yeah.
Was that what happened?
Did he go like mix? No, he went to go mix Metallica or something crazy. Remember that?
Who? What?
Yeah,
Tom?
when I say
Tom?
family
Tom?
emergency.
It was
Tom Suarez.
It was
AKA more money.
ludicrous.
Yeah.
It was ludicrous.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever craziness, but we know the real deal.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, Normandy was kind of a crazy place between that guy. What was his name? Green, the dude that owned it, was like half out of his mind. It was a crazy place, man.
It was a wild scene.
Yeah.
Great
for
stuff
sure.
came out of there, though. Some classic stuff came out of there.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
some real truth came out of that.
Yeah, out of that place. Any memories of this recording process at all, Freddy?
Oh, yeah.
Demonstrate my style. Oh yeah. Is that the one where we stayed in the hotel, the haunted hotel?
That was Set It Off.
Oh, that was Set It Off.
Yeah.
So where did we stay for this? Didn't we stay at some house? Same kind of deal? Was it a similar deal?
I mean, similar deal, because it was the tracking was at Dave Brown's, and we mixed it at a different spot.
Okay.
And I can't remember the name of it, but I
No,
remember you guys driving from New York to the mix.
Yeah.
Or where we track vocals at the same place we mix too.
Right.
Because you had lyrics to 5-0 because you guys got pulled over.
Okay. And yep. And then I wrote the lyrics based on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that record, like that cover again was like kind of like we were trying to like one up, Set It Off a little bit, and that was that's an old Mob hit actually, the front of it.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
That's a classic, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was right here in New York too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's Joe the Boss. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was like a famous hit, and then we were just trying to like kind of stay with that aesthetic, I guess. You know, that black and white, that black and gray with the, you know, just doing hardcore our way. You know, our version of it.
Well, I think it harkens back to sort of even Victim in Pain, sort of that incredibly powerful image on the cover of Victim in Pain. So this is sort of the world we're in, which is we need a really powerful image for the album, you know? Yeah. Oh, Jimmy Ferrari knows. Joe Masseria, Coney Island.
Yeah, it's Joe the Boss. Yeah. That's Joe the Boss.
Joe the
Masseria,
Boss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said before. Yeah. Yep, he's right though. Yep, that's correct.
And I mean, is it safe to say that really with demonstrating my style, it feels like I always kind of felt like Madball really sort of came into their own. Like this is Madball sound and
more original music, that's for sure. Because Set It Off had some of the 7-inch stuff, and then you know obviously original songs, but some of that 7-inch stuff came over, and then. I mean, Set It Off, I had started, that's when I really started writing lyrics. But then I was developing, you know, getting even a little more comfortable by this record. But yeah, I mean, every song on there, I think is like, I don't know if there's any they're all original on that, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything from like any old stuff. Yeah.
And Vinny wasn't in the band at this point.
Right.
So.
Yeah, kind of on his way out by this point. Yeah. Or he was out by this point. Yeah.
Was it? I know it's kind of common knowledge that the first record's kind of easy. We've been playing the songs in our live set for a couple years, this and that. It's when you get to that second one when you sort of have to really crunch it out, grind it out, and come up with a bunch of new songs. Was that tough here, Freddie?
I mean, yeah, for everybody. I mean, there was a lot of work on Maddie's plate, Hoya's plate. Like I said, for me, the lyric stuff was like, I was sort of newer to that, I was kind of, so yeah, like I can remember writing some of these songs like right outside the studio, like, and then running in, like having the music and establishing the music. Like we would all go to, whatever rehearsal spot we were at. Was it the one in Midtown, right? For these records? Yeah, music building, exactly. I remember the songs being developed there, and then, you know, coming up with a portion of the lyrics there. But then I remember also just the pressure of writing some of this stuff like right before we would record it. You remember that, Maddie, right? I mean, that was like, that was, it was intense. It was, but I think that added to the rawness of who Madball was, you know? But yeah, like I said, that was more refined. The second one was just, our sound had become more refined, more developed by that one. First one was sort of like, you know, I mean, we definitely stood out, I think, sound wise, what Maddie brought, what Hoya brought, whatever Willie's playing, every, you know, my lyrical style, whatever you want to call it, you know, definitely stood out from the pack of hardcore at that time, for sure. It was something different.
Yeah.
But then by demonstrating my style era, it was starting to become a little bit more like developed. You know, the sound was developing more, and everyone was getting, I guess, more comfortable with their different, you know, their different lanes, you know.
I always felt that 1995 Dynamo show, that festival was a real like watershed moment for Madball. Like, I mean, literally put you on the big stage, and it was like, holy fuck. And I just remember seeing that and going, oh yeah, like, you know, that's, yeah. I mean, you guys got,
like, yeah, that's hardcore, all right.
Yeah.
Look at this mess.
Holy shit, you know. And that was the big sort of Roadrunner year, right? For that Dynamo Fest. So I think
that was huge. That was huge for us. That was, yeah, like you said, it's a watershed moment. It wasn't our favorite show. I think I can only speak for myself, but I think we've had these conversations, all of us, behind the scenes, and I don't think it was our favorite show performance wise, at least not for me. But it was a massive show. It was the biggest show we've ever played, still to this day. So, and it exposed us to a lot of people that didn't know our brand of hardcore. You know, like they had, you know, they were more familiar with Biohazard, and Machine Head was huge at that time, or getting big at that time, and like they were familiar with a lot of these bands. But I think we were definitely like the odd men out, and definitely like the underdogs on that billing.
Yeah.
And, you know, we went up there and did what we do, you know, it was raw and crazy, and people remember it.
Well, you grabbed the moment. I always felt like you grabbed, you like got up there and you just grabbed the moment, and that was fucking great. You know?
There wasn't a lot of festivals back then that we could actually play.
Right.
It's not like it is now.
No.
And that was, like Freddie said, just the exposure to playing in front of so many people. It was a great moment for the band. Yeah, and
I think because of that show, we're still able to play festivals. Honestly, like just like that opened up a door for us that, you know, was never there. I mean, even by that point, like had AF played festivals, even like there wasn't hardcore on festivals. You know, like hardcore didn't belong on a festival. Like that just wasn't something that maybe metal, big metal, but like not hardcore. And like,
I don't think they really existed back then. I think it kind of started becoming really popular, like when you guys are out there.
Yeah. Well, we got lucky because somehow, some way, and Roadrunner played a big role in that, I'm sure. You know, like that was a big deal because we were part of that roster. So we sort of got, we were thrown in there with that Roadrunner camp and gave us an opportunity. And I like I said, not my favorite performance, but we did, I guess, seize the moment because I think it opened up a door for us, because after that, then we did play other festivals. Like it opened up a door for Madball, and then, you know, having that platform helps, you know, like, because we're mainly playing little clubs, you know, but like having that extra platform to like kind of, you know, represent the culture on that level is like, you know, it was cool.
Yeah. We were interviewed by Bobby for Headbangers Ball MTV on that. Right?
Yep. You know, so Bobby and Evan was it all of them?
Was there,
Bobby and Evan?
Yeah. I think that's what, at the beginning of this clip that I downloaded, there's at the beginning of this clip. I'm gonna freeze it. Hold on. At the beginning of this clip, you could see Evan interviewing you.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot Evan was part of it too. Yep.
Yeah. And then, so there you go.
We were so awkward.
Hey, I know it's
what is this?
I know it's Father's Day and everybody has family. So if anybody has to take off, just speak up and it's no problem. I don't want to hang anybody up here.
I do got to leave pretty soon.
Yeah,
okay.
I do too. But
all right,
I'm here for
a couple minutes.
Going back to that last show, that was like the best 250 Dutch marks and 5 Brocks you guys ever got, right?
Yeah.
That's probably what you got paid.
Yeah.
250 Dutch marks and 5 Brocks. Get out of here.
What? Yeah.
I mean, Roger, as you, I know you're gonna take off, but let me ask you, like Agnostic Front at a certain point, A7, CBGB, touring the States, touring Europe, and then playing big stages. Was there like a learning curve in like, we're playing big stages and we got to like fill this out? Was there like a moment with AF when you were like, we're going to be playing big stages. We got to do something here, fellas.
Absolutely. I didn't know
bigger backdrop.
Right. I didn't know about that till we went back. And when we went back, we played the Dynamo with Willie.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember that?
And I was there.
98.
I was there.
Yeah.
We were like, what is this? We never seen anything like this.
Right.
Played the same festival, but with Willie.
Yeah.
And it's just wild. We didn't know nothing until this date. I still cheated. I make sure everything's about 10 feet back, bringing the amps around, like who has time? We're hardcore bands. We move around. We do shit. We're not these shit. We're not just standing there metal bands. We need a certain amount of room. We don't need that much room. You're trying to kill us.
Yeah.
Well, one thing is important.
It was an adjustment.
Get wireless. I think we played Dynamo, right? Hoya didn't have a wireless.
Yeah. No.
And he didn't even have a long
neither did
cord.
Maddie.
He runs
Neither
out.
did I.
The cord gets unplugged.
Yeah. That's there's a learning. There's definitely a curve to it. I mean, we
oh my God.
Yeah, we're sort of dealing with that. You get so acclimated to playing in small spaces, and then you're on some huge stage, and you just feel really awkward and naked on this big stage.
Well, and imagine us. That was our first festival ever.
Yeah,
and it was like the biggest ever, right? Can't remember. I can't recall playing any other festival before that. And there's like, oh, you're gonna be on a festival. Oh, what's that? Oh, there's only 150,000 people.
And everybody's about 50 feet away from you. That's
like what?
Not normal for hardcore bands.
We're playing. We played 100 kids. You know what I mean? Like every night. Like,
but everybody's up front.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was like, it was.
We just played this Colombian festival in Colombia, and they had 3 barricades, and I mean the people were literally like a football field away. The people that
that's weird.
Yeah, that is weird though.
How do you have to go into your mind of just play and perform because
sure.
People were like, I mean, I was like, how did they? But they loved it.
Sure.
It is what it is.
Mike Barrett says Madball went on after Nevermore.
Wow, did we?
Yeah.
Joseph, early, I know that.
Joseph, our Polish brother, says AF's going to do a big festival in Poland later this year.
Yeah, we are. We're doing that Poland Rock Festival in Poland. It's a big one, real big one.
Yeah,
nice.
That makes sense. Raj, I know you ought to go. Anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out?
I want to thank Willis, Skin Rose Brooklyn. I want to thank my brother Freddy Madball. And I'm leaving the best for the last. Oh, I want to thank you, Drew. And I'm leaving the best for the last. And Corn Cobby. Thank you for the memories. And your initiation was well worth it, wasn't it, buddy?
It was.
You could tell them all your initiation when I leave. But anyway,
I owe you a lot.
You guys, happy Father's Day to all of you.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day, Raj.
All right, Raj.
I'll call you this week.
All right, bro. Bye.
All right, take care.
Take care, Raj.
I can only imagine what your initiation entailed, man.
Oh, boy.
It was a long
torturer. The torturer.
It wasn't as bad as some others.
Oh yeah,
exactly. I know this.
Yeah, I heard Craig's was good too.
Some say it's still going.
It's still suffering a bit from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. PTSD. He has PTSD.
Yeah, I want to go back to set it off a minute.
Please. Yeah, and I want to go ahead. I have the visual because I wanted to ask. Go ahead.
So I play in 3 different bands now, and it seems like almost every show I play, somebody comes up to me and says how influential Set It Off was to them and how it impacted their life, which is it's pretty amazing. And all these years later, people coming up to me. In fact, 3 weeks ago, I played a show with Iron Skull here in Florida, and this guy came up to me after the show. He's like, Set It Off changed my life. He's like, when I was in high school, he was probably like in his 30s. He's like, when I was in high school, I was like a nerd and I got bullied. And he's like, then I bought Set It Off. It was my first hardcore album I ever bought. And I shaved my head and I started punching people in the face. It's like, going to change my life, man. No one ever fucked with me again after that. I was like, oh, that's great. Great story, man.
He got it.
Get that,
he got it.
Yeah, he got it. He got it. Hey, I always was this picture. Is this on was the Williamsburg the walkway of the Williamsburg bridge?
Will it be?
Yeah,
that's what I always thought. Right.
Yep. That's that little corridor that you can't that doesn't exist anymore now. But
right.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. I kind of always figured that, and that was
it
was a different.
It looks a little different now. That's for sure.
Well, it's a different era. I mean, look at all the graffiti. It's like that looks like someplace you would not want to walk down late at night.
No.
So
I mean, to Willie's point, and I think that especially stateside, that album is definitely the one that a lot of people it's an important record for a lot of people, and even the new generation, a lot of people talk about that record, especially stateside.
Yeah,
because in Europe they like a lot of different records, which I love that. They like a lot of different eras of Madball, but this is definitely the go-to for a lot of kids in the States.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was definitely different. Everything about it, aesthetically, musically, so yeah, man, we definitely appreciate it.
I mean, Willie, your drumming on Set It Off and Demonstrating My Style is just fucking solid.
Hell yeah.
Your drumming is just so
the best.
Yeah,
he saved the best for Madball.
Any thoughts? You know what, Willie? Any thoughts on? I know there's a little different in the sort of the mix, like the way the Set It Off was mixed, and then you sort of, I know Freddy talks in the liner notes a little bit. Well, I'll quote Freddy here. He said the effects on Set It Off were maybe a little too much. It was a little too hot, and the tone on Demonstrating My Style was a little too light. Did you go one way with the pendulum and then kind of overcompensate
the other way?
I think so. If we could have like merged both those mixes, that would have
been that would have been good.
Demonstrating My Style is a little more dry.
Yeah,
drier, has more grit to it, like a little bit, like but
too much mid range. I feel like, except really, to me, Demonstrating My Style is your record. Like, to me, the drums sound huge. Like, they are the best sounding, instrument on the record. And I mean, you kill it on that.
That's where I think the production worked, because there wasn't, it didn't sound like as overly sampled like the first album.
100%.
Yeah.
But I love the songs. I think the better songs on Demonstrating My Style. We're kind of finding our sound more, in that direction.
I think me, you and Hoya, after playing together a lot, really just naturally locked as a rhythm section at that point. Like,
for sure.
We could come up with a riff and we could start to jam it, and like all three of us just kind of knew where it needed to go
lock in
at that point, and we locked in.
Right.
Yeah. Is the third CD on the set is Look My Way? And Maddie, I mean, you have a producer credit on this. What did producing officially with Madball kind of look like at this point? I know, Will, you don't play on this. It was John LaFata, but this is the third inclusion to this. Any thoughts on this, Matt?
Yeah, a lot. And one thing I'll comment is you made a comment about bands being loyal to you and coming back like we did with the video, right?
Sure.
And I think Madball pretty consistently was that. But Look My Way was a change. Jamie Locke did not engineer that record.
No.
And it was I'll be straight up. It wasn't my original idea. And I give credit to Monty Connor because, he wasn't technically the guy that signed us. We obviously knew him, and we obviously knew that he held a lot of weight in Roadrunner, and he also had a lot of respect for us. I mean, Roadrunner as a whole did. So, there was mutual respect there. And he took me into his office and he said, listen, for the third record, I really think you guys should consider changing up who you get to engineer. And I was like, really? And he said, I love Jamie Locke. I think the records he did with you guys are great, but I think there's a more sort of grimy modern sound to go after. That's kind of the way he put it. And why I thought that me and my friend Dean could do that is a different story, but I knew we had to go somewhere else was kind of the idea. And it's true. So in Massachusetts, there was a studio, Salad Days, that was doing real well at, the smaller label network. And my friend Dean Baltalonis was one of the lead engineers there, and he was in 454 Big Block. Yeah. Really skilled guy. And these guys had met him, and because he was a friend, and we'd played with 454 Big Block a few times. Let's just record it with Dean. See, let's all own it a little bit more because it was a little more DIY environment, and let's just make it happen. And I had requested to be listed as producer because I was going to school at that time, trying to get an engineering thing going, and the band was like, "Yeah, of course, Maddie, that's cool with us." But it was.
And to be fair, you always kind of wore a producer hat with other records. I mean, you were the most, technically savvy and in my opinion, the most experienced, with in that studio setting with Willie, of course, as well, because Willie had done a bunch of stuff with AF. But you and Will were the more experienced guys in the studio and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you always had a good grasp. Matty, you always had a good grasp of structures and song structure and different things like that. So I guess, I mean, he always sort of took lead as far as wearing a producer hat. But this one was the official. And and you may think or say otherwise. I don't feel like anything changed in the way we did what we were doing because of that. No, not at all.
It's and Drew, I'm sure and Freddy, I think you've done producing for right? That's right. Yeah, that's right. Right. So it's a responsibility to see the overall project, keep moving along at minimum, right? Try to help just steer it, deal with a lot of dynamics. And it makes sense to have sort of one guy be the agreeable guy versus everyone just always kind of just,
Yeah. I think we all know at this point, that's what works best, really.
Yeah.
It's like when you have everybody doing the same thing all the time, I think bands, just my take, bands sort of work best when everybody has a role and everyone, different people bring different things to the party, and that's what makes the whole. And I feel like with a lot of bands, that's the secret.
There's usually the one guy that's got the more technical knowledge and good ears, and that was Maddie. I wish I would have paid more attention when I was in the studio back then,
I agree.
Those early albums, because now I'm more into the engineering side of things, and it's very complicated.
Is that right? Zach Gote says Dean had the Def Jam board in Gloucester, Mass.
The Def Jam board.
The Def Jam recording.
Was that during Look My Way or after?
I can tell you right now. So Salad Days with Dean was actually truly owned by a guy named Brian McTurnan, who sings for a band Be Well now. He's kind of out of the Virginia, Maryland, DC scene. He's got a brother, Mike, right, who's Battery. not some good 90s shit, point being,
Yeah.
right? But anyway, we recorded it in that studio in Massachusetts, but Dean eventually wound up owning
in New York,
buying Salad Days from Brian and moving it into Dave Brown's place in Gloucester.
Dave Brown again.
Yeah.
Dave Brown comes up. Boy, this guy.
What wasn't Dean in New York for a minute?
Yeah, then he was in New York. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey,
Sick of It All. I think Sick of It All did a record.
Yeah, me, Dean, and Dejan went in. Became partners. In the
that's what I
studio.
thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Didn't you record Vietnam too? Was that done there?
I did, and still feel horrible about it because the backups of those recordings got lost. It was a mess, and Gus was a sweetheart with me because he knew it was just a total mistake. But
wow.
We'll
re-record it.
Yeah,
AK.
Love to.
Oh, there's AK Ray. Speaking of that,
AK Ray said, "Hey, Matt Henderson, did you change amps on Look My Way from previous releases?"
Yeah. And I'll just be honest, I never liked the guitar sound I got on any Madball recording through these three. I just never quite had the gear I really wanted because I couldn't afford it. And just, there's elements I liked of each of it, but overall just not quite there. And Look My Way was an ESP with EMGs. That wasn't on Demonstrate My Style. And it was that Marshall JMP rack mount preamp with the power amp, which the guy from Kickback used. And I always thought he got a great sound with it. And I never did. I don't know why.
Yeah, it didn't pan out that way. Let me just say that what is bringing us all together here today is the box set, if you want to call it that. It's a 3D box set of the Roadrunner years. Madball, true to the game, very cool. Each CD has an incredible booklet.
Yeah.
Cherry Red put it out, and it is available. Look them up at www.cherryred.com. I want to thank Mark Freebase who hooked me up with a couple copies of this, and we got this whole thing rolling. Great liner notes. Yeah.
They were cool. They were cool about because I had no even, me still being actively the guy representing Madball. I had no power over who puts these things out.
Yeah.
Those records still belong to Roadrunner.
Yeah.
And I've seen other versions of things come out over the years, and some stuff I'm like, it's cool, whatever. I don't know. People get licenses, they do what they do. I got to say, this camp, they hit us all up. They tried to talk to everybody. They really included us in it. They were sending me images of, with the artwork and this and that. They were very cool about wanting, the band to like the product and give it, a stamp of approval. And I think more people should take notes from that, because some labels will grab a hold of an album and re-release it, whatever. They get a license from Roadrunner, they re-release it, it's cool, but they don't even include the band. They don't even ask them what they think of it. The artwork, they don't ask them any questions about the these guys really did, like you said, they interviewed all of us, it was cool. It was cool.
They took the time to put a nice package together.
Exactly. So, and even though this is not being released by us personally, it's still, they went about it in a classy way. And, so shout out to them for that, for doing it the right way.
I had the same experience. Mark reached out to me and, with the interviews, and he even showed me some of the artwork stuff. I thought it was nice that he wanted us to be involved. And there was no, I said, interview whoever you want, just, and that's we're going to talk to, this one, that one. And it came together. It came together great. I'm still waiting for my copy, Mark.
I don't have a copy either. No, you know what? I think they just sent me a bunch, but I don't have anything yet physically right now.
Send me your address. I'll send you one.
No, we got some coming.
I know Mark's been working to send it to me. He's been reaching out.
He sent me a couple to give out during the show, so I got to figure out a way to. How else can we give out another one to somebody out there? Is there?
Well, you got to send the one to the guy in Norway. So that's.
I got it. Yeah, that's going to cost me $50
at minimum.
Yeah, Gary asks, can I ask, is this a CD only release, or will be there more versions to come? As far as I know, this is a CD only release. I mean, for now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
As far as I know,
yeah. So yeah, I mean that I got a couple pictures here. This is here. Listen, you know what? I'll give one. Let's give another one out. I listen. What was the name of the second Madball music video ever made, and who directed it?
Why don't you say what was the car? What kind of car was in that video?
Right. That's a good one. That's a good one. What kind of car was in that? Yeah, and you know what? Y'all can get on YouTube right now, find the Pride video.
Yeah.
What kind of car is that Freddy's doing vocals at? Wasn't that
Stolen.
your pal?
Willie was in it too.
Wasn't
Willie
that
was
your
driving.
buddy that had that car?
Who was driving the car?
Yeah, that was our buddies from the Bronx. Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of car was it? Stolen.
Okay. What kind of car was it, Gary? Let's see. So let's see. Here we go. Well, Pride Drew Stone. Yeah. Okay. That's not going to get you the CD though. Was it a? Here's the three choices. You ready? Was it a Cadillac? Was it an Impala? Was it a Cutlass?
I know what it was, but
I honestly don't know.
Was it one of those?
Driving it, and I don't even know what it was.
I know.
Why do I think it was a Cadillac? Yeah,
that's correct.
A Cadillac. Yeah. Hey, AK, Ray, if you want to send me your address, I'll send it to you in the next shipment that's going out. Yeah, it was a caddy, and here's a shot from that day. There's me in the middle there with the Elvis sideburns, and there's Freddy on one side and Maddie on the other side. You know, this location that we did this video is the same place we shot some of Biohazard Punishment there.
Yeah,
and yeah, we shot 5 music videos there through the years
in that whole area.
Yeah, it was like this wasteland right on the river, you know.
Yeah,
but
that's Willie B. Wasn't that? Was that in Willie B?
Yeah, Williamsburg is Kent Avenue.
Yeah, Kent Avenue. Yeah.
Right. All like high rises
right.
now.
Yep. Now it's all high. Yeah, I was gonna say
unrecognizable now.
Yeah.
Like you could plop. Sure. You'll be like, I have no idea where we are. It's
there's like packs of wild dogs running around there.
It was wild. Mad Max shit.
Yeah,
wasteland.
It was wild. That said, Will, I guess when it came by the time of the third record, you went back to school, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I did. I went back to school to get my degree, and I was kind of just going to step away from music and for a while just get my life together, And then
Madball brought him back in. Madball dragged him back in.
And actually, Roger dragged me back in '98.
Oh, later. That's right.
Yeah, when Jimmy Coletti got shot in a robbery. Yeah. Roger called me like a week before the tour. I was like, oh shit. That. I was like, well, if you play all old songs, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And you guys played Dynamo. And you played Dynamo.
And we played the Dynamo. Yeah, you were there. Yeah.
I shot that footage that's on YouTube. Yeah.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was like, wait, Willie's playing with them again? Huh?
But I just did that one tour, and then it was back to school again. Then I graduated. And then I was doing other stuff, musically that didn't really pan out.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny, that tour for you coming back in was my last tour with Madball.
Oh yeah,
because it ended in Berlin, I think, and we were all there together.
We were all together.
That's right. Yeah.
We all crossed paths somewhere. Yeah, Berlin. Yeah, that makes sense.
Chris Carver.
Yeah.
Just I know we're going a little bit beyond, but Maddie, you're talking about the end of your tenure, and that this was the last record, and you produced this, and wasn't this Epitaph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
that's Epitaph. Yep.
Yeah, and I guess this was the fourth record, the first after Roadrunner, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maddie,
Yep. That was.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Matt. Anything you remember for this is now you weren't in the band anymore. You were just producing, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And writing. Yeah,
Yeah, technically
writing,
I was not
okay.
in the band, but you know, it was something I definitely wanted to do. And I know that the band also wanted me to do it. You know, I'm very careful to say, because it wasn't like they needed me to do it. It was like we were just still that close of friends and family that, you know, we all still loved making music together. And
Sure.
yeah, why the fuck shouldn't we do that again? And we did.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, the producer thing was more kind of, because that's where I was trying to go, you know, sort of kind of start being a producer, if you will, which was not an easy thing to get off the ground. But it was a full collaboration, man. I mean, like they all were.
And Freddy, I mean, at this point, you know, there was a bit of an evolution with Madball. I mean, I think Darren played drums and Beto was in the band. I mean,
yes.
At this point, you know, you were marching on. Whoever was in, and you were.
Yep.
This is your life, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what was going on. You know, man, we were still like the friendships were still intact. Like Matty was saying, obviously, Matt was heavily involved in Hold It Down, and you know, Willie's. We're all, you know, the fam was always intact, but everyone was going in different directions, and you know, Madball was still just, you know, still had a lot more to offer.
Yeah.
So it was like, what do you do at that point? You know, you kind of got to keep it going. You know, Willie had to go back to school. Maddie was moving on to other things, but like, Madball as a band still had a lot to offer. I mean, it's funny because like a lot of people look at those early records and think of them as like us in our prime as like musicians or performers or whatever. But it's like kind of like we were just like learning. We were learning as we went, you know.
There was a big learning curve.
Yeah. You know, like I said, like first Dynamo Festival, first festival ever, you know, and like there's been many more, thankfully, many more festivals after that. And like there's a learning curve. You learn to, you know, but like 90s was the beginning of Madball. It wasn't our prime or whatever. It was the beginning. It was the beginning stages, you know, and obviously not taking away anything from any of those records at all, but I'm just saying it was like part of the growing process, you know. By this point, Hold It Down, I think we really locked in our sound by that point, my personal opinion, at least, and especially like I was getting more comfortable writing lyrics by that point, and the tone of my voice, and that was, I didn't take classes, but I figured out how to project it in a way that I didn't hate it, you know, because I listen to some of the old stuff and I hate the way it sounds, but this one I was like okay with it, you know. So like you know, I think those other records will always get more shine, but I think you can't overlook like Hold It Down, and that's like another chapter coming after that, you know. But like yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, man, the band was marching on, you know, and evolving and growing, and you know,
it's when you're at a certain age, when you're a young person, it seems with bands, just knowing what I know as sort of a bit of a musical historian, it gets to the point like Will or myself, somebody wants to go to college, somebody's got to raise a family. And then, you know, people kind of, you know, go do that. And a lot of times they come back. A lot of times they go to college, they come back, they raise a family, they come back. So, you know, I think part of being in a band is I think this is directly from your brother, Freddy, is like, you have to be willing to keep marching on. Someone's going to drop off. And you have to just take a deep breath calmly, see who else is out there, look for the right person, and keep doing what you love doing.
Right. Well, and at the time, like, Hoya and I were like, we were like a little younger, and like we were like meatheads running around. So it's like we had nothing else really that productive going on in our lives.
Right.
To be fair, what I mean? These guys are like college educated. You know what I mean? They're like moving on to I don't want to say bigger and better things, but like different things. Other things.
Yeah.
And so we were still like running around and being knuckleheads and whatever. And at the same time, like I said, band still had a lot to offer. So we were just continuing that, tradition, legacy, for better way of, for lack of a better way. So and that's what we did. And then actually, funny enough, with that record, we actually took we actually broke up.
Right.
I had some legal stuff that I had to deal with, and the band sort of just fell apart. And then, we rebuilt ourselves.
Yeah.
After that, a year and a half, 2 years later, we came back and, been going strong since then.
You came back. I think it was 5 years in between records, and Madball came back with Legacy, right?
Yeah, there was a big gap. After Hold It Down. Obviously, we had broken up for a couple of years, and then just getting everything together and just regrouping, and But I think that the breakup actually helped us grow a lot as people and just as a band. Like, we grew a lot, and then
that makes sense.
Came back with Legacy. And I mean, we were growing in every way. We were getting older, we're getting more. I guess maturing in some ways, in some areas, and just like, but yeah, man, it's been an interesting ride.
Josh asks, did these guys see their hardcore trading cards? Matty, have you seen this, Matty?
I've seen them online.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're like H2O guy. You're an H2O guy now, huh?
What the hell's that about?
That's the band I'm extremely active in right now. I'm proud to do it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And how do we not see each other in Vegas, man? How did that happen?
I know, man. That sucked. Other than Vegas is just crazy. You know that.
That was a wild.
Were you at the museum at all too?
Yeah, I hosted a tour there, and
you did. Okay.
Yeah, we played. I'm looking for. There's a Freddy one too. Wait. Oh, here's the Freddy one.
They have my drums in that museum.
Right.
Because I sold them to Roy, when he was in Nausea.
Oh, those are yours.
But they were actually original AF drums.
Oh, is that right? I didn't realize that.
I saw those drums. We thought they were. I said, yeah, these are Roy Boys. These are Roy Boys drums. There's Freddy as well. So that said, are you guys on the clock? Can I take a quick sponsor break and we'll come back? We'll take some questions from around the world. You got a couple more minutes?
I can do.
I can spare a few more minutes. Yeah.
All right. Let me do a quick sponsor break. Give me 5 minutes.
Only because it's you, Drew.
Brother, I appreciate it. I'll see you back here in a minute, you guys. All right, let's do a sponsor break, and let's start posting your questions, all you people from around the world. Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Will that be cash or in debt?
Do you mean debit?
Yes. Sorry. Another eternally satisfied customer.
Yo, what's happening? I'm out here at one of our all-ages Sunday matinees on the Bowery. I hope that you are enjoying today's show. I just want to let you know that the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live needs your support. please step up. There is a Patreon page that has a lot of unique program. Shows are announced there first. Lots of good stuff. There's a PayPal address right there on the screen if you want to make a contribution. There's also a super chat function. You could do that. But the bottom line is this show exists because of your support. We're going to be doing it for a long, long time. Thank you for all your support through the years. Back to the show.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Conditioned by misinformation, it's just the media telling us lies. Decipher fiction from the truth, society's slow and tragic demise. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Everyone's got their fucking...
And we're back. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Just real quick, post up your questions for our guests. This Wednesday, Mike Maluski from Bulldoze is on the show. J-Way of Bayway a week later on June 25th. Mantis from Venom. Hail. Sunday, June 6th. Cindy Halfrats from Lunachicks on Wednesday, July 9th. And Greg Jacobs, author of Hell on Wheels, Tour Stories, Remembered, Remixed, and Remastered. Post your photos. Let's bring back our guests, Matt Henderson, Will Shepler, Freddy Madball. Hey,
Salute.
Let me put everybody in their right spot that I like. Okay, let's take a couple of these. Well, this is a good one, and there's no real answer to this one, but what was the craziest show they ever done? That's a good one. Asking Madball what was the craziest Madball show?
Any dead people or something like that.
Maybe some of the after show stuff was crazier than the actual shows.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Remember what I said about we were young, so we were just coming up. So there's a lot of craziness that went on. Well, that goes hand in hand.
Is it safe to say that, like, for a while there, early on in the game, like when Madball would go to Europe and stuff, people just thought, like, this is what you do. You go to a Madball show and you just stir up some shit. I mean, that's kind of right.
I mean, Europe,
the States. Right?
Yeah, I was saying the States was more than Europe was more just like, they just want to have fun. I will say this in Europe, and you guys remember these things. You remember this time period, but like, there was sort of an element of like, well, there was obviously a cultural difference, and like, so there was sometimes like besides the language barrier, there was like a little bit of a culture barrier too, like, cause like when we started going to Europe, it was like, we ended up, going there a lot, but in the beginning it was like, you just getting to feel each other out. And there were people that would test the waters because of this whole tough guy image that we didn't label ourselves as that, but everyone else apparently did. And we were just being ourselves. We were just putting out the music that we were writing about, music that we liked, the lyrics that we were living, dressing the way we always dress, but like, they had this, we had this stigma of like tough guy, whatever. And sometimes Europeans would come out and test the waters a little bit. I would say that. I know it's not so much the general public, I guess, but like there'd be characters here and there that would pop up and, oh, you guys are these tough New York guys. Let's see, how tough are you? That kind of goofiness, and sometimes it wouldn't end that well for them. But sometimes you end up talking and you get through the, and it works out. And now it's like going there, it's like our second home almost, It's like crazy how much we've grown with, Europe is like we understand them better, they understand us better, and it's great. But in the very early stages, there was some little tension here and there in Europe.
It's a good question. Pat Baldwin says Mickey Fitz cites Freddy as an inspiring vocalist during the business's second wind in the 90s. Any good stories about Mickey?
Yes.
I mean, I'll just jump in off the bat to say, our first headlining show in London, maybe. I can't remember. But the real first opportunity to play for England and have a chance to meet Mickey. Mickey comes to our show, and Mickey wants to meet us and hang out. So, just a really down to earth guy that you could tell, we're a lot alike, even though we've never met until just now.
Yeah. And I'm flattered by that, by the way, if Mickey said that, because that's a very flattering thing, coming from Mickey, and like, I mean, that scene has a lot of respect for New York hardcore, and New York hardcore loves, like, I find me someone like in New York hardcore that doesn't like UK oi. That'd be rare. That's a rarity, because like we all love that. We all came up with the business and Blitz and this and that and all, last week, all that stuff. So it's like, to get a compliment like that from Mickey is a big deal. And then to become friends with him, which we all did. Yeah. And then they came to the States shortly after, and like, they were in New York hanging with us. So yeah, it was a cool friendship that, rest in peace, Mickey. But Steve Whale, I'm still very close with him. We still text each other, and anytime we're in London, he shows up to the shows.
Yeah, good guy,
good
guy,
people.
Steve Whale, good
people. Yeah, Mickey was all those guys, man. And I mean, stories are. I'll let Stigma tell you the bus story one day. We'll let him tell you that story where we got lost dropping Mickey off, because Mickey always had to get dropped off at his house if he hung out with us.
Is that
Doesn't
right?
matter what kind of vehicle we were in. We could be in a big old tour bus, whatever it was. You got to drop Mickey off.
Got it.
Yeah,
This is a two-part. You ready? Gary asks, any new Madball material in the pipeline? And Alejandro says, Freddy, speak to us in Spanish, please, for Argentina hardcore.
Hola. We were just in Argentina not that long ago. It was, man, a lot of love for. That was one of our early shows, guys. Remember that, right, guys?
Yeah, I was gonna say when that question popped up about one of the craziest shows, like shows.
Yep.
I would say Argentina, like in the early days when we went there.
Yeah,
that was pretty.
That was crazier than any States show by a lot.
Yeah,
like we were like, what is going on here? People actually like us? Oh, shit. It's crazy.
How did that happen?
It was like 93, so it was like before any major tours. It was like, I think before that Downset Doggy Dog tour.
Yeah,
which was our first official.
Yeah,
before Set It Off got released,
copies of it.
Yeah, we had only done AF tour, opening up for AF, and then like sporadic shows, and then Argentina randomly, and that was like buck wild, and it was crazy, and the passion was like they were about it, like still now, still to this day, man. Like we just played there, and it's like they go off. Argentina goes off. Brazil. South America in general, like a lot of love.
I remember
saludos.
I remember going to Argentina in the in the Biohazard 1992. They were playing a basketball arena with Bad Religion, and we went down there, and they were all about it. It was in Buenos Aires, and it was an incredible experience. We were just like, holy mac! We got off the plane, and kids were at the airport, and it was a fantastic.
Wow, that was 92, huh? Biohazard was out there.
Might have been 93.
Yeah, around that. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. It was really.
That must have been something.
It was fantastic. It was really a great. Did you guys play any of the early years in Mexico?
No.
No. Did we play Tijuana? No, we didn't. No, that was with AF.
That was a different. Yeah, no, we never played with the lineup. We didn't get to Mexico until like, man, I want to say like the 2000s or something. Like it was like later on, like in the 90s, we never got to Mexico. South America, obviously Europe a bunch. I mean, but as far as crazy shows go, I mean, I can't really pinpoint one. I mean, like Willie said, Argentina definitely stood out back then. Dynamo stood out, just the gravity, the how massive it was, just like that was just like crazy different. But we had a lot of like crazy little club shows in the 90s with these guys in Europe that were like, yeah, like couldn't breathe, everyone smoking, like just like insanity, like pure insanity, like asbestos falling from the ceiling, like it's just like horrible, but great at the same time.
Yeah.
You know?
Scott, how about the first part of that question? Is there any new music in the pipeline?
Yes, for sure. We're actually about 9 songs into an album right now. And, you know, I want to put out like 10 songs solid, but you want to have more than 10 songs if you want to put out 10 songs. So we're getting there. Yeah, we're getting there. We're you know, me and the Mikes, shout out to the Mikes.
The Mikes.
Mike Justin and Mike Gennari. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my guys, man. And we've been coming up with some cool shit, you know. So yeah, definitely expect another Madball album. If not the end of this year, it'll be done. We're recording in July. That's already set up.
Cool.
But
good.
I'm not sure release wise how that's gonna all play out. But we're going in to record July. So yeah, new Madball album in the works for sure.
Great. I just want to say that what's bringing us all together here is Madball True to the Game, the release on Cherry Red Records. Thank you, Mark Freebase, for putting this all together. This is a great package. It is available at cherryred.com. Check it out. It is a CD only release. There it is right there. Make it happen. It is a great release with great liner notes by Matt Henderson, Will Shepler, myself, Howie Abrams, and others. So check that out. Let's do another question or two, and we'll go enjoy our Father's Day.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Freddy, Pizza Machine asks, would you ever play one of the albums live from start to finish? If so, what album? I guess the question is like, is there any of these albums that you feel really could be you have, right, with Maddie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I think we did a tour where we were doing I want to say maybe 25 years of Set It Off or something like that, and that was where we brought out Turnstile and
wow.
What was the other bands that were on there? There were a few. Well, Turnstile became what they became, obviously, but like it was Turnstile, Downpressor, and
Take Offense.
Maybe was it Death for Dishonor on that?
Yeah, and Take Offense too, right?
It was a pretty cool lineup.
It was great.
And we did a whole run, did a whole tour of it, and I want to say we were doing it front to back, but I could be wrong. We might have switched like the songs around here and there, but like we did pretty much every song on Set It Off. Yeah, and then we've done shows like that later on, like when we were doing 30 years of Set It Off. We did some shows where we did a lot of these songs, and yeah, it gets a little weird, man. It's like it's not as cool as people think sometimes. Like when you do it like front to back, like it's like because there's like a lot of other songs that you're not, that you know what I'm saying, and then like when's that song gonna happen?
And then there's songs that you never played live before, right? And you gotta like force yourself to learn it and play it, and you're like, there's a reason.
Some don't come off. Some just don't come off, even if like it's a cool song.
That's right.
But it just doesn't translate live. Yeah. And so you still gotta get through it because like, all right, we gotta do this album. But so sometimes the like album, from the back, top to bottom, whatever is a cool in theory. It's cool in theory, but like doesn't always pan out. But we do it. We do it sometimes still. Like we've done it. We've done it for.
Well, I mean, but Set It Off is only like 26 minutes or something.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, you can still just add
another album and then do the greatest hits too.
That's true.
Good point. Good point.
Is it only 26 minutes?
Something like that.
Oh wow!
It's like what is it? Slayer, Rain and Blood is like 19 minutes or something, or one of those.
Wow.
Yeah. Last question. Joseph asks, you mentioned Turnstile, so I thought this would be appropriate. How was touring with younger hardcore bands like Drain? Did you give them any advice? I mean, through the years, Freddie and Maddie, Willie, you guys have played with a lot of bands, not just in Madball, but when you come across a young band like Turnstile, I mean, what's your interaction with them? through the year? I mean, do you offer any advice? How does that play out?
I mean, I'll gladly have any conversation with any of those guys about anything, but like it's weird to like kind of, you know, I think you sort of just drop gems sometimes on people by example. And that's probably the best way, you know, you can do it. You know what I mean? And like with a lot of these young bands, most of them are like super respectful, you know, of like, you know, where we all come from, what we've all done and stuff. And like, I like connecting with these bands because they're the next generation, and obviously, you know, the young kids are checking, you know, for them. But like, some of them, especially the ones that do it right, it's cool to just see like where it's all going, you know, where the whole movement is going. And that's why, like, when I do Rebellion tour in Europe, I always try to bring like, you know, Drain. Last time we did it was Speed, you know, it was like, you know, one of these tours, it was H2O with Drain.
And The Take.
The Take. That's right. The Take was on that one. Were you on that same? Was the Take on that same one with Drain and with Drain?
Yeah.
The Take was on that one. I thought maybe it was the one before or after, but no, it's the same one. Okay.
So wait, Madball, H2O, and Take were on the same tour?
We were all together. Yeah, we were all together.
With Drain.
That's pretty cool.
We did a couple songs, all of us together for the first time in like 30 years on the stage together. The end of the
that was fun. Yeah, that was. And
you guys played together, like
we did Pride. We did It's My Life and Pride at the end.
That's awesome.
Yeah, every night Willie would come up, Maddie. And
that's great.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool that we were all. I think that was the first time in a very long time that we were all like on a tour together. But you know, I guess the point, you know, long-winded point here, but I like to always like connect with the youth. And kind of bring those generations together, you know, like that tour, like perfect example was like us, H2O, and then like Drain and Take. And it was like a mixture of like the next generation and then like the guys who were like, you know, holding the line, you know?
Yeah.
And I've always tried to do that because we were those kids, you know, we were those, you know, young guys coming up at one point, you know, and as far as giving advice, I've never sat and like, try to give anybody advice, but like, you know, I think sometimes it happens in conversation naturally, you know, organically, just talk about things, your experiences, and then that just gets passed on. And, you know, that's, you know, luckily a lot of these bands that we mentioned are nice, you know, nice young guys, you know, and they have the, you know, they're doing it right.
Yeah. My father is going to be 92. His favorite band right now is Turnstile.
Get out of here.
Are
you serious?
He saw
it's not Frank Sinatra.
He saw them on what were they on the Colbert Show recently? Yeah. And he calls me and he goes, "Hey, this band Turnstile, I really like this band." He's like, they took the hardcore thing and he broke it all down for me. He's like, they took the hardcore thing and they kind of softened it up in a certain way. But I said, you know what, Pop, you nailed it. That's kind of what they did.
Hey, maybe he can get them membership into the Stallions. They all get their golf.
I don't know if they'd make the cut for the Stallions.
Yeah, I don't think they would. I don't think.
Hey, I'll start playing golf if I can get
Madball could possibly be honorary Stallion, so Madball might be.
Yeah.
But you know, good for that.
We golf.
Yeah.
We, you know, rough. You have to be Jewish to be in the Stallions? No.
You know, I gotta ask him because I think it was a Jewish crew.
Okay,
I think it was like a Hebe clique from the Bronx, man.
Okay.
You know, like tough clique, and they were into all kinds of shit. My dad says what really saved him was when he went to the Army. He's like, he was heading down a path of destruction, and he went to the Army, and he really learned some discipline and a couple things, and he came out and really, you know, did something with his life. So there you go.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. That said, hey, we can probably go on for a couple more hours. Let's throw the flag here on Father's Day. Thank you so much, Freddie.
Happy Father's Day, everybody. No, thanks.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, thanks, Drew.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
What's up, man?
Yeah,
Thanks for having
love
us, Drew, and thanks for celebrating this with us. And congratulations, man. How long you been doing this now? How many episodes?
Oh, this is episode 380.
Wow,
Yeah.
unbelievable, man. Keep
That's great.
going. Thanks for repping the culture, man. It's awesome.
My pleasure, and thanks for being a part of it. I'll talk to all you guys soon. Have a happy Father's Day. I love you guys.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Hey,
Love you too.
likewise.
Thanks,
Much
guys.
love.
Take care.
See
All
you,
right.
fellas.
There you have it. The show's not ending, but that was our friends from Madball. That was great. We're going to go on. We have another special guest. We got a couple things to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I want to mention a couple upcoming events, and then I'm going to bring on a special guest, and this is going to be exciting. So coming up, event-wise, hey, if you are down in the DC area, tomorrow, Monday, June 16th, the Outlaw Vinny Stigma is playing From the Pit to the Prairie with support from Walter Schreifels and Leon City Sounds. This is tomorrow in DC. If you're down in that area, get down there and check it out. A week from today, free all ages Sunday matinee on the Bowery. Channel 3, Mala Vista, Chemical X, Chumhuffer, and Beast from the East. Free all ages. Bring the wife and kids and all that. Yo, on my birthday, Saturday, June 28th, up in Boston, Tree, Miracle Blood, ID, Scumbari, and Mollusk, hosted by Tommy O'Deed. If you're in the New England area, come by. It is my birthday. I'm excited to be playing. Sunday, July 13th, back down at our home at the Bowery Electric, Fury of 5, Shoot the 5, The Long Wait, Jerry Body, and Vugget. Crazy Eddie's final show, August 3rd, along with Brass Knuckle Brigade, The Return of Enziguri, Four in the Chamber, and Go to Ments. Speaking of stigma, we are playing Under the Stars in lovely, the jewel of New York, Staten Island, on Saturday, July 19th at Mother Pug Saloon. In the back on the outside stage, it is Stigma, ID, Fire is Murder featuring Steve Gallo, The Blame, Sling Blades featuring Steven Messina, and Idiot Box. Also will be at the Upstage Music Fest, playing with Sworn Enemy in E-Town on August 9th. Boy, we got a lot going on this summer. Yo, speaking of Demise, Sunday, August 31st, Demise, Nailed to the Cross, who just announced their new singer, Layla from Concrete Ties, Cropsy, Jackknife Johnny, Concrete Burial, DJ Sid the Kid. They're coming in Fast and Furious Kids Sunday, September 14th at the Bowery Electric, free all ages Sunday matinee, 24/7 Spies, Rebelmatic, Ache, Deadshot, Fuliano, brought to you by the Bronx Historical Society. This hasn't been announced. I got to announce it tomorrow. ID is headlining the Bowery Electric in October, along with Non-Residents, No Weapon, Overstand, featuring Todd the Kid from Warzone, Steel Toe Solution as well. And then we'll be out at Crash Fest playing with GBH in October. And then just want to mention, 70 Years of Stigma at Irving Plaza on December 6th. Tickets are on sale now. Agnostic Front, Raw Brigade, and Violent Way. Tickets are going fast. Holiday Slamboree, December 14th, featuring the return of My War, new singers, new songs, along with Butterbrain, Tree, Serial Poets, and World of Chaos. That's all that's going on. It doesn't look like we are playing the Al Baril show in October at Roadrunner. That hasn't been announced yet. We have committed to playing Crash Fest with GBH in San Francisco, so it doesn't look like we're going to be playing the Al Baril thing. It's not announced yet. Not sure exactly what's going on with it, but it's going to be announced pretty soon. That said, want to bring a new friend on the show. Actually, I want to play the video first. Let me see where this is. Let's play this video. And let's see. And we're going to bring a new friend on. Hold on. Let me find. What is this? Okay, screen recording. Bear with me. Check this out. Come on.
I get up, I get down, and I'm jumping around. And the rumpus and ruckus are comfortable now. Been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to grow. So I got an apartment across from the park. Put quinoa in my fridge, still I'm not feeling grown. Been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to go.
Here we go.
So put your best face on, everybody pretend you know this song. Everybody come hang, let's go out with the bang. I'm way too young to lie here forever, I'm way too...
That said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, wait, let me clear the deck here. So I'm not, let's bring our new friend on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at the ripe old age of 9 years old, Mr. Hudson Buggy. What's up, man?
Hey.
How are you, buddy? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Speak loud. Where are you, Hudson? What state are you living in?
Washington.
Washington State. And tell us about these hats you made. Do you enjoy? Tell us about your business making the hats, specifically the Vinny Stigma hats. How did you start doing it?
I really like making people happy and like making hats for people.
Okay. And let me get the this picture here with you and some of these Stigma hats that you made. There you go. Is this something that you enjoy doing?
Yeah.
Right. Who else have you made? Yeah, go ahead, Ma. You can help me. Feel free.
Sorry. Why don't you tell them how you got started making hats? Like, how'd you get the idea to start a hat company?
I don't really remember.
When did you start it?
January of this year.
And why did you start it?
Because I like making people happy.
Yeah. Brandon Vince says need one. So where, if somebody wants one of these incredible hats, where can they get one?
Texas Silver Rush.
There you go. That's right. These hats are available at the Texas Silver Rush. Our great sponsor, Joe Romini, who happens to be Vinny Stigma's cousin. They have these hats here. I'll show you another one. You guys were kind enough to send me one, and these are very cool trucker hats. Here's what they look like. And I'm going to be reaching out to you about doing hats for my band because we need some hats. Yeah. And Scott says, you're doing a great thing, little bro. So good stuff. Roger says, when I was that age, I was watching Dragon Ball Z. Well, there you go. Yeah. What else? What's next? What's next on the agenda? What are you doing next, Hudson? What are you working on?
I'm making hats for word of mouth. Like for word of mouth motorcycle garage.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah, he's made hats for a couple bands, Other Orient in Canada. For Vinny Stigma now, that's a pretty big first one.
Yeah.
How many hats do you think you've made in total?
600.
Wow.
Yeah, it started as a school entrepreneur project. They encouraged the kids to kind of start a business and think of something they want to do and sell and promote it. And now he's loved hats, and I was having to buy him a bunch of hats. And he said, well, we can make some. And so he got all set up. We'd give you a tour of our living room, but there's literally hats and hat presses everywhere. He's more of like a behind the scenes kind of guy. He likes to do the work behind the scenes. So he's got some.
Anthony Gutter, our legend in New Jersey, says we got to get him an embroidery machine.
Yeah,
so that could be next. And and there's and if anybody out there is interested, that's Joe Romini from the Texas Silver Rush, who's from day one has been one of the incredible sponsors of this show. You can go onto the Texas Silver Rush. Vinny Stigma Outlaw exclusive hat is available there. So there, hats off to Hudson. And I'm going to reach out to you because I want you to do some hats for my band, Incendiary Device. Okay.
Okay.
Is there anybody you want to thank? Is there anybody you want to shout out, Hudson?
Joe, for sure.
Joe.
Okay. Joe Romini from the Texas Silver Rush, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Hudson, and we're going to keep in touch. And all right, yeah. So Anthony Gutter's asking, how do we make orders from him? So how can someone reach out to you guys if somebody wants, like Gutter has a business and he's looking to make hats? How could someone reach out to you, Ma?
His Instagram is
Hats by Hudson.
Hats by Hudson on Instagram, or hatsbyhudson.com is the website. And that would be awesome.
There you go.
And you get a video and a personalized thank you card handwritten by 9-year-old Hudson with every order. And he can do patches too. Patches, keychains, hats. He's been kind of hustling it all over here.
Cool. Well, I'm happy for you, Hudson, and I'm honored to have you on my show. And let's keep in touch, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
There you have it. There's room for everybody on the boat of the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. I just thought that was just a great story, and I just wanted to let you guys know about Hudson. And yeah, this is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We're still punching it out all these years later. We love doing what we do. We are sponsored by blah, 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 and the Texas Silver Rush. The Texas Silver Rush is a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for photos, promo photos, social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Gregory Ringo Starr, and of course, my friends and yours, Agnostic Front. Information on online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram page, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. You heard our latest sponsor, Candle Witch Co. is a female-owned entrepreneur business based out of Connecticut. Owner Rachel King Keys handcrafts soy wax candles set with intentions for your sanctuaries. She has also accomplished a life goal dream since beauty school, debuting her artist showcase, Hotties and Hellions, that features live bands, burlesque, sideshow acts, vendors, food trucks, and this year, a live auction with all proceeds going to the mental health program Punk Rock Saves Lives. You can find her on Etsy and on Instagram at Candle Witch Co. Yo, seriously, these candles are friggin' outrageous. I can't wait for the show to be over so I can light up and smell one of these suckers. Last but not least, 126 Hardcore Clothing is a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise, like you, my friend. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them. Ramp up your game at www.126clothing.com. That said, hey, any suggestions? Who would you like to see on the show? We haven't done this in a while. Let's get crazy. Who would you like to see on the show? Post them up. Let it fly. Do or die. Let it fly. That said, shouting out Larry Kelly. out on the road with Eugene and Stigma, putting in the work as a tour manager, doing it up. Just a reminder, once again, that the Stigma Tour is in DC tomorrow, and go see them. What can I tell you? The show's great. I saw it the other night. It is fantastic. So, that said, what do we got? Another quality show, Drew. Glad I've been here you have been here since the start. Thank you so much. And listen, just a quick shout out to anybody out there. If you want to support the show, the best way to do it is on Patreon. www.patreon.com/Drew Stone. There's a $2 tier, a $5 tier, a $10 tier, whatever. That's the best way to support the show. The show's still here after all these years because you support it and because I love it. It's a combination of the two. That said, the road is awesome. Okay. Hey, I love you too, John. Thank you, brother. Interesting. Good, very good suggestion right here. I have thought about reaching out to Burton. Formerly of Fear Factory. I've actually been thinking about that lately. So that might happen. Peter Hook. Hey, Tim, how are you, buddy? We just saw Peter Hook play at Punk Rock Bowling. Me and my wife, Rochelle. They headlined the second night of Punk Rock Bowling. It was great. They were great. All New Order and it was great. Yep. Thank you, Roger. It was a great show. Things go in waves now with this show. It's like, there's a couple of like quiet shows, and then the wave goes out and then we come back strong with a show like today. Listen, Freddy Madball, Roger Moret, Will Shepler, and Matty Henderson all on at the same time. What's up? Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, huh? All right. Brendan Rafferty from SFA has been invited on the show many times. He just really doesn't want to do it. If you speak to him, tell him to do it. He knows the invitation is open. Jake Burns, man, I've never reached out to Jake, and I'm certainly a fan. Is that right? Aaron from Death Threat Pillars of Ivory. That's a good one. Hey, Susan, I hope you're well. Tom Capone. Someone from Dead Guy, someone from Bane. Bane's a good. I should look into the Bane angle. Bane would be good. Is that right? Burton Bell is no. I thought that tour got canceled. Didn't Burton Bell cancel his Australian shows? Colin from Cockspar. You think? Hey, we have the 400th show coming up, so the pressure's on. But I have a couple things up my sleeve. So, Duff McKagan, good one. Yep, good one. Mike Dean. Mike Dean's a good one too. Okay, good suggestions. Oh no, he's doing the tour with his wife, Drew. Okay, very good. I'm getting Gajewski. I'm getting tattooed by the guitar player of Death Threat Tuesday. Want me to? Yeah. Yes, please. Get me in touch with Aaron. Max Cavalera's done the show. Igor, his brother's done the show. What's his why am I drawing a blank? What's his name? The singer for Sepultura has been on the show. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. A lot of Sepultura guys have done the show. All the Anthrax guys have done the show. Richie Birkenhead. I don't think Richie Birkenhead would want to do this show. I really don't. I don't think so. Sammy Siegler has done the show. Sammy Siegler's Dennis Green. Thank you. Sorry. It's been a long show. Blackie Lawless. You think? I'd love to have Blackie Lawless on the show. Friggin' love to have Blackie Lawless. Hey, look who we got Mantis from Venom coming on the show. That's pretty cool. Mantis. That's a good one. Rick to Life. You know, there was a point where I was considering having Rick to Life on the show, but then he kind of went off the rails again, and that wasn't a good idea. You know what? I should reach out to Gary Holt again. If he has a new book out, I should. You know, Iggy. Yeah. Mephistopheles. My boy Mike Bitts. That'd be cool to have one of the Mephistopheles guys on the show, the singer or something. That'd be cool. It's good. You know what? Chris Holmes would definitely come on. I don't know if I want to go there, you know. Daryl Jennifer was invited many, many times. Daryl Jennifer does not want to do the show. I've tried many times. Pleaded with the guy, you know. Noah Iceman. Don't see him around. Don't see him on social media. Chuck Billy from Testament would be great. All good suggestions, my friend. All good suggestions. You know? Yep. Good suggestion. Choke did the show. I should bring Choke back on the show. Choke did the show early on. Go back. Choke did a show early on. Jeff Janik from Discharge did the show. Listen, we've done 380 shows, so you know. Chuck Treese has done the show. Chuck Treese has been on. Yeah, Chuck Treese. Robo would be good. I mean, Danzig would be great. Of course. Love to have Glenn on. There's the 400th show coming up. Who's it going to be? You know? Rob Lind. That's come up a couple of times. Chuck Dukowski, you think? I wish. I've pleaded with Chuck to do the show. You know? Anthony from Killing Time doesn't want to do the show. I've invited him many, many times. Just doesn't seem to have an interest in doing it. Not Greg Ginn. Why not? I'd love to have Greg Ginn on the show. Greg Ginn would be great. You know? Jerry Only, I've tried many times, you know. Jerry Only's line to me was, we didn't do Conan O'Brien. Why would we do your show, Drew? So, Mike Muir, sure. Oh, you know who we're in touch with? The original bass player of Suicidal, Luigi. We're going to get Luigi on the show, you know. Scott from Terror's been on the show. Scott's done the show. Funny you should mention Chuck D, because somebody else brought up Chuck D the other day, a friend of mine, a mutual friend. And I said, yo, connect me with Chuck D. We'd love to have him on the show, you know. Mike Muir would be good. Just keep in mind the 400 shows coming up, and it's got to be a banger. Civ won't do the show. Civ won't do it. Nope. You could ask him why. Civ won't do the show. Everlast is a good one. We had Danny Boy on. Yeah, Louis Seidel. We'll have Louis Seidel. Listen, you know, yes, of course, all the Biohazard guys have done the show. Listen, one thing about this show, right? We gravitate to the people that want to be here and want to be a part of it. And that's part of the reason why the show has the success that it has, is because we naturally gravitate to the people that want to be here, want to be a part of it, love what we're doing, you know? Yeah. Listen, keep in mind, we've done almost 400 shows. So you're bringing up people that haven't done the show. A lot of them are people that at this point we've asked a couple times and they kind of don't want to do it. So, but it just goes on and on. I mean, we'll be doing this show for a long time. I'll be doing this show for another 10 years, you know? So that said, happy Father's Day, everybody. Really, really appreciate you. Wasn't it? It was cool having multiple guests today. And it really worked. It really worked. Hey, I see Who just sent me an email? Oh, Vaughn. Hey, Vaughn, I didn't know you were out there watching the show. Thank you, Vaughn Lewis. Yes, please hook me up with Burton. Hey, Mick, how's things in Australia, buddy? I'm like multitasking. How's things in Australia, Mick? Jeff Waters Annihilator. Yeah, good one. Sure. Who are some of your dream guests? Let's see. Where's my paperwork? Who are some of my dream guests? Funny you should ask. On my list of potential 400 episode guests, you ready? John Brandon, Negative Approach. Louis, Suicidal Tendencies. Slim Jim Phantom from the Stray Cats. Johnny Lydon. Freaky Franz from Turnstile. Those are guys I like, Jello Biafra. Also Johnny Two Bags from Social Distortion, who we saw in Vegas and we talked to. So, hey, John Connolly from Nuclear Assault. Listen, that's the shit. We have the show. If you're known as an artist who doesn't do interviews, you come on this show and do an interview. That's kind of like, I do not know Kat from Scowl, but I've heard good things. Let's have Kat from Scowl on the show. Jimmy Page. Yeah, I'd like to interview Jimmy Page for sure. I'd get loose with Jimmy Page, man. I'm a big Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin fan. Charlie Harper. We've never asked Charlie Harper. We've never reached out to Charlie Harper. Buzz Osborne. We've never reached out to Buzz Osborne. So there's still lots of ground to cover. There's still lots to do. There's many miles to trek. Goal is 1,000. Can you believe it? God, I almost said 400. It could happen. It could happen in our lifetime. David Yao. There's still a lot of people. Hey, today was a fantastic show. Let's be grateful for that. Thank you so much for being a part of my life. Lou DeBell has been on the show. Lou DeBell. Mike Patton. That's a good one. Thanks for your support, everybody. Happy Father's Day. We'll see you on Wednesday from Mike Maluski. And hopefully after that, we'll see you in New York a week from today at the Barry Electric for Channel 3. Until next time, do good things. Crystal from Initiate? I don't know that band. Thanks, Larry. Be careful out there out on the road. All right? Happy Father's Day. Do good things and good things will come to you.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty.